Am I the a-hole if I, a 29-year-old female, tell my husband, a 31-year-old male, that I am not willing to spend $10,000 on a down payment for a new truck because driving my car makes him feel less of a man? Edit to clarify title, we are looking at used trucks. I said new as the truck would be new to us. It does not change the point of the post much, but I wanted to be accurate. Backstory, my husband and I got married last July, but we have been together for a total of 7.5 years. We have always kept our finances separate, but I have been wanting to merge accounts for a while to remove that feeling of his and my money and approach our finances as a team rather than as two individuals. If it matters, he makes about $15,000 to $20,000 more a year than I do, but I have the most money in my savings account. Long story short, his car has a lot of problems, and he has been wanting a truck for a while. Logically, we really do need a truck to allow us to do more home renovations and be less reliant on family, but I am not sure now is the right time. I have asked him if we can set a goal to purchase a truck this summer so we can focus on saving up for a good down payment to lower our monthly payments, and so we can remain secure with a nest egg in our bank account. I currently have $13,000 in my account. This includes both my savings and my checking account. He typically has anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 in his account. While I have kept my spending more frugal, he has, to be fair, spent more money on our home and daily needs as I work remotely, whereas he works in person, so it is easier for him to grab last-minute items throughout the week. I want to make sure I am not making him look like he is being selfish. That is not the case, but I do think he is being immature. He asked me if we can go look at a $39,000 truck this weekend and is asking me to put $10,000 down. Now, do not get me wrong, I am not hoarding my money from him, but I grew up homeless, without basic needs, and I do not ever want to put myself into a position where I am struggling again. We are 100% not poor, but I would feel very insecure dropping my account down by that much when I have been saving this money for years. To add to the conflict, when I remind him we do not need the truck this minute and that we can use my car until, say, August or September, he says driving my car makes him feel like he is not a man. I tried to tell him that there is nothing manlier than a man who puts his family's financial interests before his wants, but he just clams up. He essentially told me that I obviously do not think of my bank account as ours, and what I say is apparently the final say. I have tried to have a mature conversation to weigh the pros and cons, but he is legitimately pouting. I am talking no eye contact, monosyllable responses, and not engaging in the discussion. I do not want to have him feeling like his wants are not valid, but how do I get him to see from my perspective? Or if necessary, how do I see from his perspective when he will not give me anything more than, it's the only truck that meets our requirements within 500 square miles. You have more money than I do, and your car is a women's car. TLDR, my husband wants me to drop my bank account down to $3,000 so he can have a manly vehicle. Editing to address some questions, feedback, and overall absurdity, asterisk. I am sure most of you out there understand that there is only so much context or nuance that can be included within a singular Reddit thread. With that in mind, let us try not to judge my husband too harshly. First things first, I want to address the elephant in the room, which might disappoint some of you. I drive a black 2018 Nissan Sentra, we call her Burness. Excellent gas mileage, comfortable, spacious enough for a starter family, and still shiny too. He has no problem whatsoever in the way he is perceived driving the car. It is the fact that it has no torque to it. His current car is a 2016 Subaru WRX, and he has spent the last 8+ years driving it. I cannot lie, I also really enjoy the turbo and the handling, so I understand the disappointment going from that to Burness. She is a true point A to point B vehicle, no bells or whistles, and always loses in a race. So, while I still do not think this is a good enough reason to jump the gun on this truck, it is really not about being in a truck. Piggybacking off of this, I quoted him verbatim on the title. He truly said, "Driving your car makes me feel like less of a man," but it is not any deeper than the fact that my car is slow and a bad choice of words on his part. But to play the devil's advocate, I do call my car a she and named her Bernice. So, I guess I started the whole gender assignment debacle. He is not a misogynist, and while he was not choosing his words correctly, I do not think his feelings are invalid to an extent. He was in motocross throughout middle and high school, and as soon as he had enough money, he bought a sports bike. Adding in that he is so used to a quick day-to-day vehicle, I can see why he might feel stifled by a boring car like mine. Is that a mature excuse? No, but it is not hard to understand his inner feelings on this. Next, I want to be fair to both myself and to him on our spending, and why our bank accounts are where they are right now. He took out a loan for his motorcycle in 2016 for what I think was a $15,000 to $16,000 loan, and then took out another loan in 2017 to buy his car. I do not know the numbers exactly, but he put a reasonable down payment on the car and ended up with a $26,000 loan. Objectively, both were bad financial decisions, but he was barely 22 or 23, so I will give him some grace on that. He paid off his bike in 2023 and his car late last year. He sold his bike last summer as well, now that I think about it. Losing his bike and having his Subaru start dying might explain the urgency he is feeling. With both of those loans rolling over the last several years and taking on home ownership, he was not saving much. Because we were not engaged at the time of us buying the house, and I would not benefit from the equity put into the home, we decided I would furnish the house, pay an equal share towards home renovations, pay for the majority of groceries, and cover electricity and internet, but he would cover the mortgage, heating, and taxes. It was a fair exchange, as we did look into the numbers to make sure we were both putting in a fair share based on our individual income. Now why 8+ months without those big monthly payments and the extra money after selling his bike? Is he still not saving enough? That is the big question. I took the advice many of you gave me and sat down with Excel after reading through some of your responses and began a budget for us. I am seeing areas I need to improve in, but I will have to see what is going on with his numbers tomorrow. One more thing, though they were buried, some of you did suggest putting a ball sack on the back end of Bernice. It was a valid suggestion, but she is secure in her identity. Spending nearly 50% of combined money on a car is wild. I can understand matching him with no more than $4,000. In this economy, I would be buying the lowest cost, reliable transportation and keeping access to whatever cash I could. If the type of car he drives impacts his sense of manhood, I would want him to explore that a bit more. I find it alarming that he associates his manhood with a truck. Am I the a-hole for not opening a chest to ease my roommate's fears? Recently, we had to move some important items out of our family storage because a rat was chewing things up. I brought home a large chest full of family scrapbooks and pictures. It looks like an old-time pirate treasure chest with a cartoonishly large padlock. One of my roommates noticed it and asked to look inside. I told him what it was, but that I did not have the key to open it. He then asked if I could break the lock so he could confirm with his own eyes. I said no because it was not mine to break, and my family liked the charm of the lock. He got upset and insisted I either show him what is inside or get it out of the house. He is worried there might be a weapon inside, as he has trauma from any sort of weapon. I tried assuring him there was nothing like that inside, but he kept insisting I open it. I would take it out of the house, but I do not want my parents to have to lug this over 100-pound chest up the stairs, and no one can find the key. My other roommate says I should just open it to give him peace of mind. Am I the a-hole because I do not want to open it? Not the a-hole. It is none of your roommate's business what is in there. It is not his property, and you are holding it on behalf of your family. You told him there is nothing dangerous in there, and even if there was, unless it is a time bomb or a vial of toxic gas that could go off at any moment, the item or items are secured by the lock. He cannot tell you what property you bring in, so tell him to back off and mind his own business. Am I the a-hole for calling the police on my roommate after they broke into my room? So I, a 22-year-old female, live with two roommates, one who is 22 years old and the other who is 23 years old. We have had some tension lately. I have always been a private person, so I make it a point to keep my room door closed when I am not there. The trouble started a few weeks ago when one of my roommates, let's call her Rachel, started borrowing my things without asking. I do not mind sharing occasionally, but Rachel would take things without telling me, and when I confronted her about it, she would either deny it or get defensive. After a couple of weeks of this, I decided to check with our landlord to make sure it was okay to put a lock on my bedroom door. He said it was fine as long as it was not an issue with the door frame, so I went ahead and installed it. I felt like it was the only way to keep my things safe, especially after I noticed some of my personal items were moved or misplaced. Fast forward to a few days ago, I came home from work and noticed that the door to my room was wide open. Immediately, I got this sinking feeling. My laptop, which I had left on my desk, was missing, as well as my Nintendo Switch. I called Rachel and my other roommate and asked if they had been in my room. Rachel acted surprised but also defensive, and the other just seemed concerned, asking if everything was okay. I was furious. I knew that the only way my door would be open was if someone had broken in, and at this point, I was pretty sure I knew who it was. I went into my room and searched for my laptop and Switch, but they were gone. After some back and forth with Rachel, I realized that she had taken them without permission. When I confronted her, she admitted to borrowing them for a few days, but did not think it was a big deal. At that point, I was beyond frustrated. I told Rachel that I did not appreciate her violating my privacy, and I was done trying to sort things out on my own. I called the police to report that my property had been stolen and that I felt unsafe in my own home. The police showed up, and after hearing my side of things and talking to Rachel, they advised her to return the laptop and Switch and apologized for the inconvenience. The laptop was returned, but the Switch was not, and she claimed that she did not know I owned a Switch. She seemed to think I was overreacting, and some of my friends have also been saying that I might have taken things too far by involving the police. Now I am feeling conflicted. I honestly did not expect things to escalate this much, but I felt like I had no choice. I am just so tired of being taken advantage of in my own home. But at the same time, I feel bad because now things are super awkward with Rachel, and the police involvement might have been too dramatic. So, am I the a-hole for calling the police on my roommate after she went into my room without permission and took my devices? Not the a-hole, she straight up burglarized you. If that Switch does not turn up immediately, you need to go down to the station and make sure they do file a report. This is not just some petty flatmate drama. She broke in and stole your belongings. If she is getting away with this, what is stopping her from doing it again? No, she is taking advantage of the situation. Get your Switch back and seriously reconsider living with her.